In life, first become Brahm. Brahm means expand. Manan means thinking. First in life, progress physically, intellectually, gain respect, gain all experience of the world. When you are satisfied, only then come towards this side. Otherwise, there is no hope. This is wrong advice being given to people. This is wrong thought, wrong advice. This is my experience. This is what I have experienced in my life. It is 7:30 now. There is a lot of time left. If anybody wants to ask me a question, you are welcome to ask me now. Coincidentally, I have come here to Harjit Singh's place via a law of karma. I am here. I am destined to eat at his house. So I am here. You're welcome to ask me questions, but I say those things only that are in my experience. A questioner asks that the followers of Radha Swami believe that when they die, their guru comes and the law of karma is settled at that time by their guru. Fakir Chand ji says this is wrong. It is because this is the faith that have been given to these disciples, but it is not like this. This is wrong. He says even Maharaj Charan Singh in his last satsang has changed his teachings, and he agrees with me because people have asked him questions. I have challenged people from all faiths to come to me and tell me if I am wrong. Hindus come, Arya Samajis come, Christians come. They all come and admit to me that I am right. But I always say don't go by what the books tell, because I don't believe what the books say. Tell me your experience. I find that what is written in the books is one-sided and biased. They have only written their good side. They have not admitted to their mistakes and the faults that they have encountered in their life. The two sons of Guru Nanak Dev Ji were disobedient. The two sons he had were disobedient. The name of his wife does not appear in any of his books and teachings except that he was married at this time. He does not describe what challenges he faced with his wife. He was a saint of such tall stature. Why couldn't he make his sons obedient? If he could do something, he could have made his sons obedient. And what is this place, Diwar Sahib? Guru Nanak was actually not ready to marry his wife. His family were forcing him into marriage. He stood near this wall and hoped that this wall would fall and kill his wife. You people do not know the reality. You don't think that you can escape the consequences of your actions. Whatever deeds you do, in the end you will have to pay for it, Swamiji says. Karam jo jo karega tu wahi fir bhogna padna. Swamiji says you will have to pay for your deeds in the end. You cannot escape, you cannot escape. You keep asking me, what is Naam, what is Naam? Naam deals with the question, who are you? What is your reality? When somebody asks, who are you? When you tell your name, people come to know of the background, the country, your family, etc. Similarly, in spirituality, when people say, what is your name? That question deals with your actual reality. The Guru Nanak Sahib also says, Guru Nanak says, Kaho Nanak bin apa chine mite na bharam ki kai. Similarly, Swamiji also says, know thyself by thyself. It is for the purpose of knowing your reality that spiritual practice is prescribed to spiritual aspirants. It is for knowing your own reality. Spiritual practice is not the destination. It is the means to know the end. In Guru Granth Sahib it is written, O Nanak, meeting the true Guru, one comes to know the perfect way. While laughing, playing, dressing and eating, he is liberated. Who is perfect Sadguru? Vyas disciples say, our Guru is perfect. Somebody else says, my Guru is perfect. My disciple says, Fakir Chand is perfect. We are all confused. Who is perfect? Who is not perfect? The perfect master or the perfect Guru is complete knowledge. A human body can never be a perfect Guru. This body will be confined to the earth when it dies. This body will be confined to ashes. This will die. Guru is the name given to true knowledge and true understanding. Wherever one gets it, it is a blessing for that person, and that is the Guru for that person. The real Guru, if you ask me, O human, it is your own self, your own source where you have come from. We are in ignorance. We are entangled in different religious books. Hindus, Christians, Muslims, all of them. They are all ignorant. If they were not ignorant, the incidents in Pakistan would not have happened. How many Muslims ran away from India? How many Muslims fled from Pakistan? Why did they flee? Ignorance. Some believe in Prophet Muhammad, some believe in another God. Oh, listen, I have told you, no one manifests within you from outside. No Prophet Muhammad, no Fakir Chand, no Hindu God, etc. I have done my spiritual work with total honesty. There was an incident. One student wrote to me that he was in an exam hall writing an exam paper. He did not know the answers to questions. He prayed to me. He said, Baba, you came to his rescue. My form manifested and sat under his desk and narrated the answers to his questions. He got 98%. May my body die of leprosy if I do not speak the truth. The truth is, I do not know who remembers and prays to me. I do not go anywhere. Let my Guru title go to hell. I will die. I want to keep myself true as my deeds will go with me. If I deceive you and tell you that I manifest in front of you and lie to you, then there is no person worse than me. And all the Gurus privately agree with me that whatever I say is true. Sant Kirpal Singh sat with me for 2.5 hours in Dehradun. We were 5 of us there at the time. Kirpal Singh said, whatever you say is true, but your words are not constructive. They are destructive. I said, okay. Your definition of constructive is that you have managed to make an ashram or a dera. My idea of being constructive is that let there be peace in the minds of human beings. That's why there is a difference between you and me. My mission is that I should dispel ignorance from the minds of men. They should make their lives better themselves. This is my mission. That is true that I too have made Manavta Mandir organization.
मन को शांति मिले ये कंसेप्ट है इस वजह से मेरे और आप में फर्क
I too have 3 hospitals. I manage a school of 100 students, have a press, and the books go free of cost to people. 4,000 books monthly. Everything is free. But for the sake of this temporary life, for the sake of Manavta Mandir, for the sake of taking money from you all, by deceiving you, by lying to you, by telling you not the truth, then if I do that, then I'm definitely a criminal and I should not do that. So first of all, make yourself deserving for the gift of the knowledge of Naam, the knowledge about your true self. I do not say that doing Simran or repetition of holy names, or Dhyan or meditation is wrong, or that listening to Shabad or divine sound is wrong. But you can try your best. Your mind will not engage in this activity. This is because you have not yet become deserving of it. You are young at this moment. The teachings are different for you at this stage of your life. I will tell you the story of my wife. Listen carefully. My wife had a lot of self-respect. I was a fakir, a recluse, and I spent 12 years on my own in Baghdad in my employment. I was not able to care for her. Society at that time was like that for a woman whose husband was not attached to her, fellow women in the society used to trouble her and make hurtful comments. She used to feel hurt. She wrote to my spiritual master Data Dayal and explained the situation and said society makes hurtful comments. My master instructed her, whoever makes hurtful comments, retaliate with 16 times more hurtful comments, even if it is your husband, Fakir Chand. I did not know about this. When I had leave for a day, I happened to visit my home. My relatives in the family complained to me about my wife and said that whenever we say anything to her, she argues with us. I apologized to them on her behalf and came away, back to Lahore where my work was. I had a long letter from my wife awaiting for me. She wrote to me that the family relatives said that I had profusely apologized to them for her behavior, and yet she continues to argue with us. I forwarded the letter to my spiritual master and asked for help. He wrote back to me and said, I can't help your wife. She doesn't follow my instructions. I asked him which instructions. He said I asked her to retaliate with 16 times more hurtful comments even if it is you. I pleaded to my master and I said, I am a Brahmin and you are a caste. What will people say about you and what kind of teachings you give to women? My master said, Fakir, you know nothing about teachings of true saints. The real teachings of a saint is to give peace to a man. You are a recluse, you are unaware of the ways of the society. I do not care about other people.
Give peace to a man. आदमी को शांति मिले. तुम मजबी दुनिया के आदमी हो, तुमको हकीकत का पता है. मैं नहीं परवाह करता लोग मुझे बुरा कहें या क्या.
What I'm trying to say is that the teachings to achieve peace of mind is not the same for everybody. The methods to achieve peace is different for each one's circumstances. This gentleman in the audience now asks me to tell him about Naam or knowledge of self. Now I am thinking, what should I tell him? He is 29 years old and his wife is young. The teachings of the saints say that the divine name cannot coexist with a life of desires, especially sexual desires, in the same way that night and day cannot coexist together. Now, if I give instructions to him to realize the true name within himself, his family life will go into turmoil. Your wife will not let you live in peace. You may mind my straightforwardness, but I speak the truth. The true name of God is an exceptionally exalted state of existence. The repetition of holy names or meditation is not called Naam. Naam is the experience of who I am. If you have this experience at the age of 29, you will have extreme detachment. Therefore, I cannot tell you to achieve Naam and give up your wife at this stage of your life, because if you insist in doing this, it will devastate your worldly life. I am really speaking the truth to you without mincing my words. The initial stages of Naam I will tell you. However, the real knowledge in the end is something else. There is nothing there. Swamiji says that there is no Ram, Rahim or anything else. When our self reaches there, that is called Naam. When you reach there, Swamiji says, there is no Naam or Satnam or Anami. This is a stage where the drop merges in the ocean. There is no one left to describe that state of existence. Are you understanding what I am saying to you, Harjit Singh? You have called me here. It is possible whatever I have understood is wrong. My whole life has been spent in search of truth. 12 years I stayed in Basra, Baghdad, away from my family. During that whole period, I never went to see Basra. I never saw the city of Baghdad. This was because I was in my youth. I was afraid that I would fall to temptation. In my mature years, for 26 years during which my life was with me and alive, we did not live as man and wife. It has been now 18 years that she has been dead for. After having lived this kind of a life, I have come to realize what is the absolute truth. Whenever I have indulged in sex, I used to feel disturbed and I lost that peace of mind. I used to write and plead to my master and ask that I repeat the holy names, but I don't get any peace of mind. At that time, I did not know the cause for my loss of peace of mind. When I came to know the cause, I became responsible and I controlled myself. My dear wife died. May God give her birth in a favorable body. She helped me immensely. I had many moments of weakness, but in those times she saved me. So please don't desire for the ultimate reality of self or Naam. This is not the age for you. I do not want to sin by telling you about that. You are married and you have yet to give birth to children and do other things. But yes, I would say to you is maintain discipline. This is my teaching to you. Please do not mind what I say to you all. Take any number of species, birds, animals, insects. In nature, no female lets a male come near it except for when it wants to become pregnant. The males also don't go to females. But us humans don't see the time of day or night in pursuit of pleasure. Therefore, how can we then hope to achieve peace of mind? What will become of us? The whole human race is in a state of extreme ignorance. This is the time of Kali Yuga. Is it time for satsang yet? If it is time, please start reading the Shabad. Please read.
पीर तोए भेद बताऊं शब्द योग खुल कर जतलाऊं.
My Guru Maharaj is telling me in this hymn that, O Fakir, listen. Today I will reveal to you the whole secret of Surat Shabad Yoga. Proceed further and read this hymn.
सहस कमल दल रहे अनेक इस पद में नहीं सूझे एक.
You have 5 names: Sahasrakar, Omkar, Rarankar, Sohankar, and Satyakar. Aren't these the 5 names given to you? What is the first? Sahasrakar. He says that the person who does spiritual practice at this point, what happens here? Here, your mind keeps raising different kinds of thoughts every moment, every moment. You may put your attention here, you will experience different thoughts here. Office goers might think of official matters. Family people will think of different matters. You do this every day. This stage is Sahasrakar. There is no unity here. There is multiplicity here. This is because in the mind multiple thoughts arise. Read further, please.
यह विराट का रूप कहावे दो प्रकार के शब्द सुनावे.
This stage is called Virat Purush in Hinduism. There are 3 things: Virat, Avyakrit, and Hiranyagarbha. Virat is the name of the whole world. All gross matter in nature is called Virat. Avyakrit is the whole region of the mind. Beyond this is the Karan Prakriti or the Karan nature. So this stage is the stage of the gross form of nature. There is no unity here. This stage has 2 sounds.
निरंजन माया ईश्वर प्रगटे मां स्थूल रूप धर.
Jyoti Swarup is light. That light comes outside as gross matter. Whatever you can see. When we light a candle, for example, from the middle of the candle smoke emanates. That smoke becomes gross in nature. In the same way, the radiation that comes out of Jyoti Swarup, that becomes gross matter. In Sanskrit, what do they say? The earth is formed out of water. Water is a product of air. Air itself emanates out of fire. Fire is formed out of akash or etheric matter or sky. This akash is formed out of Jyoti Swarup. Light is from where the whole world is formed out of. Read further.
सहस आँख और सहस कान है, सहस कला के यह स्थान है।
एक ज्योति स्वरूप तुम्हारे अंतर में है, एक इस दुनिया में है, जो विराट पुरुष कह रहा है।
One Jyoti Swarup is inside you. There is another for the whole exterior world. That is called Virat Purush. From your mind inside, multiple thoughts arise. Sometimes you think this, sometimes you think that, sometimes you think sexual things, sometimes you have thoughts of love, sometimes you are angry, sometimes you are greedy, sometimes you are thinking of one person, then you are thinking of another person. This is the phenomenon of the region of Sahasrar. There are two kinds of sounds here. Why? Why? You take a bell made out of brass metal. That metal is made from different elements. When you strike the bell from the metal, it gives off a distinct sound. Similarly, when you are there are different kinds of thoughts inside you, desires of different kind. When you accumulate these at this point, the desires of gross matter which accumulate here, they strike and produce the bell sound when you are trying to take your attention up. For example, in the outside world, when you accumulate elements of gross matter into a particular metal and strike it, it produces a sound. In similar way, our own thoughts which are of gross matter, that is desires of this world, who want different things in this world, whenever they concentrate doing spiritual practice, they will hear the sound of bell and a conch. This is due to their own nature, that is due to the coming together of their thoughts. This will happen by doing Simran or repetition of holy names. Simran done in this way of a japa jap, that is not with the tongue. Movement with the tongue doing Ram Ram or Om Om is not effective. This has to be done by the mind at this point where I have kept my finger. There are two kinds of sounds which happen here. I have told you why these sounds come. There is no bell inside you. It is your own mind's desires. Now I am in front of you. I can try millions of times. I am not able to hear the bell sound now. This is because I have passed this stage and given up. In my mind, there is no respect for any gross matter. I don't love the gross matter of the outside world. Have you understand what I am explaining? For me, practice at this stage is of no use to me. But for worldly people, it is necessary to do spiritual practice here. Can you proceed further, please?
देख विराट की अगम छवि, चित्त में हो प्रसन्न, तब त्रिकुटी की ओर चल, धर गुरु मूरत मन.
When you reach the first stage, you enjoy different visions. You behold nice scenes inside. You might behold beautiful gardens or have visions of saints. Some might see visions of Devis. If one is a Muslim, one might have a vision of Prophet Muhammad. Listen, why don't you think, has any Hindu had visions of Prophet Muhammad, Ali or Hussein? It never happens, isn't it? Because a Hindu person has never been given any thoughts of Prophet Muhammad. Now, has any Muslim had visions of Ram, Krishna, Sita or Sikh gurus? It never comes because in their brain they did not have any thoughts or impressions of them. Depending on the kinds of desires one has within self, accordingly one has visions of the same subject. Because he travels within with love, he beholds the visions of love and faith. My master says, few days experience these, hear the bell sound, see and enjoy, and then leave it and go forward. Ahead is the region of Trikuti.
त्रिकुटी पद में है ओंकारा, त्रिलोकी का सार पसारा.
What is Trikuti? This is the place where I keep my hand. Trikuti means three: the meditator, the object of meditation, and the attraction or concentration between them. One is the person who sees, two is the object, and the third is the love between the two. The place where one keeps the image of his master and concentrates on it is called Trikuti. In the first stage of Sahasrakar, one who reaches there and concentrates there, whatever kind of intense desire he goes within himself with to that place will get fulfilled. No one can stop it. I have done a practical of this. If I went within into the light of the first stage and gave benediction to anyone, that never went waste. The sick became well. Now many people come and get prasad from me and get well. Do I do this? Am I a miracle maker? No. People come and partake the prasad and have faith. It is their faith that works, their own thought that works. Proceed to the next Shabad.
ऐ मैं का शब्द रसाल धुन प्रगटे सुन चित संभाल.
At Trikuti stage, there is a sound of A, U, M or Om. Some describe the sound as Bum, Bum. Guru Nanak Sahib describes this sound as Vaheguru. Others have described it as Om. Why does this sound of Om happen here? Here, the thought is formed, the thought stays for some time, and then the thought destructs. Why does this happen? At the stage of Sahasrar, your thoughts are multiple. You leave these multiple thoughts and go upwards, meditating on just the love for your master or guru. In that state, your own mind manifests as three forms. One is yourself, the second is your Ishta or ideal or beloved, and the third is the love between the two. Consider it like this: when you go to marry, you take a wedding party, friends, ornaments, garlands with you. You marry and bring your wife home. Friends etc. go home, parents go home. What remains? You and your wife. You stare unblinkingly at your wife and your wife sees you. There is a palpable attraction. This phenomenon is called Trikuti of love. I am giving a dirty example from outside to explain. Inside, when you similarly behold your guru or master, or you concentrate on your ideal or Ishta, forgetting every other thought, this phenomenon is called Trikuti. Harjit Singh, you asked me to tell you in detail. Proceed further.
तुमने कहा था जी डिटेल से मुझे बताओ. आगे.
लाली उषा दृष्टि में आई सूरत देख देख हर्षाई.
Your surat or consciousness beholds a red light in Trikuti and becomes happy. You might ask why there is a red light like the red sun. When externally I hold something with all my strength, does my face become red or not? When I use my strength and effort, my face becomes red as I am exerting. Similarly, inside, any person who uses his strength of his mind to make the form of the Guru inside, his mind is using strength. The body's red light traverses the utmost fine channels of his mind. Therefore, he beholds his own Atma or soul's light in red color. Making the form of Guru or Ishta inside is no mean feat. To say it casually is one thing. For me, it took 10 years to make the form of the Guru inside. In the beginning, I used to meditate on Ram and Krishna. That form I could make. But to make the form of Data Dayal, I used to see his photo outside and then meditate inside. Then again see outside and then again try and concentrate inside. This is how I made an effort. Why redness manifests inside? This is because the mind gains considerable strength inside. The mind exerts inside. One thing is very important. At the stage of Trikuti, only stay there for a few days only. Those don't spend long hours here to see the red light, otherwise, your eyes will become weak, your mind will become unbalanced, and mental illness will occur. I have seen so many satsangis of Vyas who have become mental. This is my experience. That lady I spoke to you about before, who had 3 children who died, that lady's husband met me 3 years ago. He told me my wife has gone mad. By meditating on Trikuti, she has become mad. Baba Sawan Singh used to say to some of his satsangis who used to do too much meditation, he said, "You do not meditate, I will do your share of meditation." Why? A meditator exerts great strength all the time, and he observes and beholds this redness. The blood flow inside the brain accelerates and may damage the fine vessels in the brain, resulting in mental defects. What am I saying? Now, the proof of this. Professor Bhardwaj is our president. He had a friend who was a disciple of Rai Saab Saligram of Agra. He received a letter from Saligram Sahab who instructed him, don't spend time in meditating in Trikuti, otherwise your eyes will get damaged. Meditating in Trikuti is only to gain experience, nothing else. This is experience of stilling the mind. But this will only happen to that person who has detachment. This is not meant for those who have still desires of the world. For them, the path is keep good thoughts and do good work every day. Make your worldly life comfortable. When they are satiated by their experience of the world, then they should do this practice. Read further, please.
गुरु ने धारा लाल स्वरूप श्रुति संयुक्त त्रिलोकी भूप.
Guru inside you becomes manifest as red and divine light. Why the red color? I have already explained. That red light is the king of the 3 worlds. That is the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. Outside the exterior world it is different, but mirroring the same arrangement. How the organization is in the body, the same can be found in outside universe. When we experience the creation inside, we also get knowledge of how the outside universe is created and organized. Kindly proceed further, please.
सतरज तम की धारा तीन प्रगटी यहाँ से सुन सुन चीन.
इस मन से
It is from this mind, from this place, all thoughts germinate. The Satugun thoughts, the Rajugun thoughts, and the Tamugun thoughts. How the manifest Guru from inside appears and reflects in reality. It reflects the state of your own mind. This secret was not revealed in the past. It was not the tradition to tell seekers the truth, but it is the truth. Why? Because people meditate on my form. I do not know, but my form guides and helps them in their problems. I met one person who asked me, if I ever fall sick, do I go to the doctor? I said yes. He told me that he never goes. He said whenever he falls ill, he meditates on my form. He says that my form tells him which medicine to get. We buy the same from the chemist and we get well. Hearing him say this, I thought, how is it possible? Because I run to the doctors when I'm ill. Whenever I have a boil or any other problem, I request the doctors to treat me. Hearing these things from devotees, I'm left bewildered. I can't understand this phenomenon. I'm sure I do not go. I met another man who said that when he has any problems in life, he remembers his dead mother. His mother comes in his dreams and tells him solutions which give him success. What is this? Oh man, this is your own faith. This teaching traditionally was forbidden and not revealed, as it was kept secret. If it is revealed, no person will donate and serve the organization or ashram and will not come there and give respect to the masters. Who will give them money now? Who gives me money? Very few people. Who will want to give me money when I honestly say that I do not do anything? It is your own faith. If the masters of different faith tell the secret, who would want to come to them? Who gives to me? Only a few people who appreciate that the man is doing his work with honesty. Most ordinary people do not. Other organizations, you do see sacks of money being collected from donations. People people believe that their masters come to rescue them and give them money to them, and they in the belief that they do something for them. They bow their hands and spread out their hands in front of them to beg. And the reality is that they do not know anything. My own guru had an ashram which functioned on the same lines. I went to him in 1921. I knew the reality from that time. I stood up and told him that your ashram will not survive. He asked me why. I said the people bring offerings that in the belief that you manifest and do their work. Since you do not go to them and you accept their offerings made in ignorance, according to the law of karma, your ashram will face destruction. That is why I don't accept donations made under wrong understanding, as this will bring me destruction. I forward whatever I accept to the organization. I do not spend a single penny on my personal consumption. I am well settled. I do not need any money. My son is earning, my daughter-in-law is earning and educated. I have my own place of staying. I do not have any worldly discomfort. I provide for my own sustenance. I do not depend on anybody else's donation. I don't accept money in ignorance. There is a widow who comes to me. She says, Babaji, please accept my money. I asked her, where did you get the money from? She said, I asked my sons. I tell her, why did you bother? Any fruit of this donation won't go to you. It will go to your sons. Go return it to them. Ask them to come and give it if they wish to do so. I am informing you of the reality. Now you are asking me the yoga of the divine sound within.
You are not the befitting person as yet to attain the real name, because you have got your worldly responsibility.
If I don't tell you the truth and instead take advantage of you and teach you the way of a renunciant, you will neglect your wife and there will be no peace in your house. That won't be good. I myself did hard meditation for 12 years in Baghdad when I was separated from my family due to the employment during the war. When I came back to the family, my master said, stop meditating. You have become a householder again after 12 years. Manage your family and produce a child. I had only a girl at that time. I followed his orders, but I fell into the pleasures of sex. The peace that I earned in 12 years, that all evaporated. If I had only restricted my going to my wife for the purpose of progeny, I would not have had to suffer. But I used to go to her for the taste of sex. That peace that I earned went away. I used to cry and wonder what happened. Before that, I used to listen to the divine sound of Veena. I have seen so much light within me that at night when I used to put the duvet over me to sleep, light used to emanate from my body and penetrate through the roof, so much so that I could see and count the tiles on the roof. Why was I able to do that? Because for 12 years I was a celibate and I refrained from pleasures and temptation by not ever going out to the city of Basra or Baghdad for 12 years. The mind of a man is so dirty. It is a great task to keep it under discipline. I talk about big philosophies, but I tell you that I also fall. I once was in Basra, Baghdad. Our house number was HP3. It was on the west side of Baghdad and was away from the city center. The Jew women from the city used to come to the Indian camp every Sunday. They were prostitutes and used to come to make money. I was alone in my house. In the front of my house there was a laminated fence barrier. I saw from a distance that two women were coming. I went inside my house and bolted the door. But if you ask me to be honest, I tried to see the woman two times from the gaps between the cane fence. Tell me, can we really trust this mind? We talk big, but this mind is a slippery customer and has the ability to strike one down when we are unaware. I am telling you of my struggles. Another incident. I was returning to India for a visit from overseas. My salary was good. I used to earn 500 rupees a month. The clothes that I was wearing were expensive. I had a silk turban on my head. I used to smoke the hookah. During the journey, I went to fix the hookah for myself from the poor coolies who were at the station. I was making my hookah. I saw a 25p silver coin on the ground. I am telling you how twisted this mind is. What can I tell you? The truth is that big saints too become victim of their minds. Despite earning a handsome salary, I looked and checked everywhere that no one was seeing me. I picked up the silver coin and put it in my pocket. When I went back to my seat to smoke the hookah, I scolded myself. I said, "What did you do? You are well off. Why did you have to do this? You not only picked up the silver coin, but you also made sure that no one should see you doing this. You are a criminal." I immediately went out and gave the silver coin to a needy, poor person. There is no trusting this mind. There is no trusting this mind. Even in this old age, I do not let any woman come inside my family home. No Satsangi woman, even if it is Bhandaro at the ripe age of 72, is not allowed.
She is not allowed to enter my home. मेरे घर में नहीं आती.
Come to the mandir in public satsang and they go back home. Even at this age, I fight with my mind. Sometimes this mind troubles me a lot. Not for sexual lust, etc. I am an old man now, but regarding worldly things. One day I was sitting. I summoned the doctor because I wanted to show myself. I had a physical problem. Afterwards I thought, Fakir Chand, you have committed a sin. I thought, Fakir, you consider yourself a master. What right do you have to call the doctor to yourself? Why did you not go to the hospital like everybody else? So now this time when he came to give me an injection, I gave him 30 rupees for his service. So these things are worldly etiquette. You are asking me about knowledge of yoga of divine sound. For that, you create within yourself the form of your physical guru and create love for that form. This is a stage that needs to be crossed. When you have manifested the form of a guru within, what will happen? Like in the case of a mesmerizer who puts a circular spot on the wall and keeps staring at it with concentration without blinking his eyes. What happens? The black circular spot becomes a flower in his vision. At that point, he becomes a mesmerizer and gains miraculous powers. Miraculous powers. He can command people to become unconscious, etc., etc. In the same way, you behold the form of the Guru within yourself and develop love to such an extent that you keep seeing it, then what will happen is that form disappears. Just like the mesmerizer who externally concentrated on a black spot till it vanished and became a flower in his vision, in the same way, the form of the Guru vanishes and the light manifests. The light that manifests is the form of moonlight. Have you understood? At that stage, you become capable of understanding the secret knowledge. This is a form of the Hans Roop. Read further.
वेद धाम प्रणव दशा संयुद्ध गीत का साज राग सुना में अद्भुती तीन त्रिक्षी दल सा.
Tell me at this stage, why does the sound of Om or sound of Vaheguru happen? Look here, the sun via its rays of light and heat converts the water of the ocean into vapor and takes it to the sky. There they assume the form of clouds. When the clouds rub against each other, it creates the sound of thunder, isn't it? The lightning happens. In the same way, when we practice within ourselves, our thoughts get focused and they become dense. All the desires of the mind they get concentrated and dense. In this form, there is there is friction between them inside our brain. At that stage, the practitioner hears the sound of mridang. Some call it mridang, some call it bum bum sound, some describe it as sound of Vaheguru, Muslims say it is Anahu. Everybody has a different way of describing in their language. This happening needs to be listened to and experienced. You cannot describe with words. Some call it as Omkar or Om. In a sense, this happening occurs as all your faculties get concentrated and become dense. This is the secret.
इकट्ठे हो जाने का की वजह से इलाज है आगे
गुरु से भेद पाए चल आगे सुरत प्रेम के रस में पागे
से आगे जाने के लिए
To proceed further, the seeker needs to approach a living guru and ask him the secret of crossing this stage. After learning the secret way, he has to approach with love. Harjit Singh, you have asked me to reveal all the way. What can I say? Who will understand? Even then I will tell you, as I have partaken food in your house. I want to do my duty and pay your debt. You spent so much of money. You paid my airfare from Delhi to London. You kept me in your house and did service. I put you in inconvenience. Therefore, let me do my duty. But it is not yet time for you to go very high, because your age is just 29. You have duties. Either you should not have married, but now that you are married, you have to do your duty as a husband. I speak very plainly. Why should I give you a teaching that would eventually cause harm in your life? It is a dangerous thing. Proceed further.
क्या है
सुन शिखर चढ़ ध्यान लगावे यहाँ द्वैत पद रूप दिखावे
Duality means two. We did dhyan or concentration on the face of the master or guru. In the process of dhyan with love, the lover and the beloved merge with each other. A sense of intense love is experienced. The concentration that happens at that stage is a stage of duality. You remain and your ishta or ideal remains. Until a person worships another, considering the other as separate, he is in a stage of duality. First there was Trinity and then duality came. Read further.
किंगरी सारंगी की धून दोए धार हुई मुझसे सोन.
Just like when the strings of a sarangi or of a violin are tightened, a melodious voice is produced when an instrument is moved over the strings. In the same way, when you exert effort to make the form of the external master inside, your attention and faculties get tightened when you focus inside. When your attention moves in such a state, a sound of sarangi or a violin-like sound is produced over there. Further up, this place is positive and negative. When positive and negative come together, or when Purusha and Prakriti they come together, they create the whole world. This is the place of Savikalp Samadhi. Here the yogis get siddhis or powers to do miracles. All the yogis by their practice cannot go beyond this stage. They become gurus or masters and use their powers to do miracles.
कहते जो योगी जन है यहाँ तक जाते हैं, आगे नहीं जा सकते, और वो सीधी शक्ति कर जाते हैं और पीर बन जाते, गुरु बन जाते हैं, वो गुरु बन जाते हैं.
Read further.
आगे
If you keep seeing any object externally without blinking your eyes and with concentration, a stage will come when the object will disappear and instead you will see darkness. In the same way, when you concentrate on the form of the Master inside, a stage will come when the form will disappear and darkness will come in your meditation. That is why they say in the stage of Mahasun, there is deep darkness of like the night. This is what Baba Sawan Singh used to refer to when he was alive. He used to say, go beyond the 10 doors. Beyond the 10th door, the true master or Sadguru awaits you. The world thinks that beyond the 10th door they will behold the form of their masters with beautiful beard and turban. This is all wrong and nonsense. The world has understood this incorrectly. The Guru or Master, O Harjit Singh, is your own soul. People do not understand this. All the masters have deceived us. I don't blame the masters, it is our own fault. We are not capable of understanding the knowledge that the masters and the saints give us. We are slaves of worldly desires. We go to the masters with desires of the world and not to know the truth. We do not understand the words of the masters correctly and end up misinterpreting their teachings. The gurus and the masters also perhaps don't speak plainly in order to protect the donations that come to their organizations to and also do not want to risk losing their positions of respect. Even if they do tell us, just like I am telling you now, all these women who are sitting here and others, what will they understand? What will you understand? For this reason, the saints and the masters don some shortcomings which keep most people away from them, and only true seekers who can see beyond the shortcomings approach them. Only deserving people come to them. Now do you understand what I am telling you? As I was saying earlier, just like you unblinkingly and continuously see an object externally on the outside, the object disappears and darkness comes. Just like that, beholding the Guru's form within with love and concentration, the form of the Guru disappears and darkness comes. Till Mahasun, it is the dimension and play of the mind. It is the play of your own thoughts and feelings and desires. When the seeker reaches Mahasun and becomes desireless, only then he goes further. Now you ask me to reveal the whole play. What should I tell you? You are still to live in this world. Tomorrow you will have children, you will bring them up, send them to school. This path is not for everyone. The true name or Namdan is only for those people who are indifferent to the affairs of the world, their tastes and desires. They have only one object, that is to know their own truth. They have no concern for wealth, children or any other attachment. They are only on a lookout for a master who can acquaint them with the truth. I will tell you that my own son, who was young and 18 years old, died. Instead of being sad, I was overjoyed. My son died, but I was joyous. Why? because I had knowledge and understanding. The happiness was not due to my spiritual knowledge. It was a worldly knowledge of how things happen here. I was very poor and I did not have money. I had many children to look after. I used to think, how will I look after all these children, send them for education, and get them married? I went to my master Data Dyal and cried before him. He chided me and asked me, Fakir, do you have faith in God? I said, yes, I have faith. He said, then whatever he does for you will be for your good. That is why when my son died, I thought this was for my own good and I became happy. I thought I have been relieved of my responsibility. I was not happy because I was a spiritual man. My wife used to nag me and say that my child has died and you have become happy. I was happy because I had no money to look after him and I was relieved of my responsibility. This was not a spiritual happiness, it was a worldly happiness.
वो मेरी रूहानी खुशी नहीं थी, वो मेरी दुनियावी खुशी। समझ गए मेरी बात को? आगे
प्रगटासूर विचित्र अपारा उज्ज्वल बिमल अमल अति प्यारा.
You have asked me to reveal from A to Z. Please remember this, that even if the seeker comes to know the whole spiritual truth and journey, until he does not pass the lower stages, he cannot reach the end stage. Even if the person can reach there somehow, he cannot benefit from the knowledge that comes from the lower stages. When devotees don't have knowledge of the whole path and practice in ignorance, their faith develops faster and hence their worldly desires become true quicker. If you want to go to the higher stages in order to help others, you cannot. Do you understand what I've just told you? Today's time is that of Kali Yuga. Everything happens fast. I don't want to tell you beyond this deliberately. This is because you are a householder. If I tell you, it will not be good for you, it will cause you harm.
इससे आगे मैं जान के आपको बताऊंगा नहीं, क्योंकि अब मैं
First, learn to love. Don't consider your guru or master as human being. I am not telling you to worship or consider me as a master. Whoever you have got initiation or knowledge from, consider that very form of your master in your head as that of the form of Akal Purush or Almighty Creator and Lord. When your love for that form increases manifold, then come to me and I will tell you the way forward. I hope you understand. I have told you lots of things, Radha Swami, to everyone. I don't want to tell you more than this at this stage of your life. Why? Because no harmful effect happens to you. This is what I want. I can tell everything, but you, along with others who are sitting, I don't want any harmful effect on their life. All of you first increase love within yourself. I don't want you to leave the places where you have faith. Agra devotees, Bias devotees, etc. All of you should remain where you are. Whatever form you believe God to be in, consider that form as complete incarnation of the Almighty in your head. And then increase love for that form. Whoever considers the Master as human and who has died, there is no progress for that person. I have never ever thought that my Master Data Dyal is dead. When the letter came informing us of his passing away, everybody in my family started wailing in grief. I was summoned. I read the letter. I did not cry. Because I never considered my Master as human. In the form of my Master, I worshipped the Almighty. The Almighty Lord is deathless and eternal and omnipresent. That element is pure and all powerful. So you all have come and I have told you lots and lots of things. Increase love for whichever form you have faith in and keep that form in your head. but consider that form a representation of that Almighty God. Love will only increase if you live according to certain discipline in your day to day life. First requirement is that you have honest means to earn your livelihood and food. One who is hungry, how can I give that person this knowledge of self? Without food in stomach, there is no use for God. Second, decrease your pleasures, especially sexual pleasure. This is essential. Women are for begetting good progeny and are for being life companions for their husbands. They are not sexual objects and they do not exist for pleasure. Whoever indulges in excessive sexual pleasure, he meets a bad end in his old age and has lots of suffering. The secret of my long age, is that I lead a life of discipline. I am 94 years old and even now better than some young people. I still am able to work at the age of 94 years. Second important thing is to try to help anyone who is in pain or suffering. This is my practical experience. Once a doctor came to me from the city of Jalandhar. He pleaded to me that he has been married for 12 years but he has remained childless. He told me that he was a doctor in a village close by to Jalandhar. I instructed him that after office hours he should devote some time to treat suffering people free of charge for some time. And I said, if you do this, then you will have a son. After 1.5 years, I was sitting in satsang somewhere and I had forgotten about this. Both husband and wife came and put their newly born son on my lap. He reminded me who he was and told me what I had instructed him at that time. I named that boy Fakir Chand after my own name. Now please think, did I give that son to him? Please think. I did not do anything. Whatever service and help he gave to the poor and needy, that helped him. For this reason, you should help the poor and needy. But one important thing, first help and serve those people whom nature has given relationships to you. For example, your own old parents. If they don't have money or they don't have food, first help them. And if you have an old father who has money and despite that he asks his children for money, then he is earning sin. I am of old age now. I do not depend on the earnings of my children. Whatever happens tomorrow, I don't know. Once my son gave me a silk piece of apparel, a kurta to wear. He gave it with love. I did not refuse it. I took it. When I came home, I told my wife that her son has given her that silk kurta to wear. She told me that this silk shirt is for men. I told her that you have become old and remain physically unwell. Who will notice? I gave it to her, but I did not wear it. Always give, give, give. What do? People give me money. I don't refuse it, but I give it forwards. I give it onwards. 100 children study in my school. No tuition fee is charged. Nourishment is given. Uniform is given. 4,000 books are given free of cost. In our hospital we purchase 60,000 rupees worth of medicine every year. Government gives us a subsidy. So Harjit Singh, you asked me about Shabad Yog. If I tell this, there is no one present here to understand it, as people are full of worldly needs. Don't indulge in sexual pleasure. Produce children consciously with the thought of begetting good children. When women are pregnant with a child, be mindful to entertain good thoughts. I tell the story of Abhimanyu and Akbar and then I give my own example. I am a soldier's child. For 12 years my parents did not have any children. My mother used to spend a lot of time on the railway station platform and used to observe how much power and respect the station master had. My mother told me that looking at them, She had a desire that she should have a child who has respect and travels with dignity and respect in the trains. So it was my mother's thought that made me a station master and my brother a traffic manager, a railway official. Mothers are the makers Mothers are the makers of men and not the leaders. I have put a motto on in Manavta Mandir that mothers actually make good good human beings and not the leaders on or the teachers of the world. If leaders make humans, then why is India in such a bad state? We are producing children who are not wanted. People are falling pregnant accidentally and not consciously. We must stop this. I do not say leave your women, but this is wrong. Going against the natural law of how children should be produced is a sin. Radha Swami to everyone.
देश के लिए जाना ड्यूटी को पूरी नहीं करना ये जुर्म है सबको राय समझ